Greetings, light workers, and welcome to my channel, Angels, Spirit Guides, Paranormal, and Life. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm finding it's very difficult to get subscribers, so I need your help, and I would appreciate your help. So I need you to subscribe to my channel. It's free. Tell your friends. I really want to grow this community because there are so many of us out there that are light workers, AKA the black sheep. I was going to actually name the group that, and I'm still thinking about it. But anyway, so also leave me a message. Leave me a message and tell me, how does your sixth sense work for you? Like, do you have clear dreams? Do you have just that knowing feeling? And remember, the sixth sense, psychic sense, is really also considered common sense. And some people feel that that they're very good with common sense and they will predict things and know things, but they don't think that's intuition. Yes, that's your intuition. That's your sixth sense. You know, it's that gut feeling. So anyway, and a knowing. But anyway, thank you for joining tonight, and we are going to talk about past lives. Thank you for listening to this show, for those that are listening other time. So we're going to talk about past lives. I'm not asking anyone to believe what I teach. I will tell you that I'm very scientific. I do a lot of research. And let's look at it this way also. Just kind of follow my train of thought here. Apparently, we supposedly only use like 10% of our brain. Come on. No, that's a myth. That's a huge myth. And it's like everything. There's a lot of people like myself that are crazy curious. So you can't tell me that everybody and scientists are just going to be like, oh, okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out later how much of the brain is used and what happens and what it does. And no. And here I'm going to sound like Miss Conspiracy Theorist again, but they're not going to tell you. There's some things that are it goes back to the early days, the early Bible days, is that people started recognizing their sixth sense. And for some of us, it's very special. And, it can get somebody into trouble if used the wrong way. So that's how it was designated to belong to the devil. Yeah, that's why. It was to get people to avoid using it. But I recommend that you don't avoid using it because, again, the sixth sense is common sense. You need that. Real important. Anyway, so let's talk about past lives. With past lives, they've done a couple shows on that. On like the Today Show, there's been several shows where they have investigated the children who have past lives. Because a lot of these kids will remember. You guys, it's so interesting. And I'm not asking you to change your religion. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just asking you during this time and maybe later tonight, think about it. Because I'll tell you what you got to think about. Think about your birthmarks. Why you have them. Does it have any meaning? And sometimes there's people that'll be like, oh, I know I was shot. I know that is from a gun. And the people say, well, how do you know? I don't know. I just know it. Okay. And again, it's one of the ways of using your psychic senses, knowing. Okay. It's a claircognizant. It's just clear knowing. Okay, which goes into knowing things. You will know some things, and you're not going to know how you know it. You'll know things like about history. For instance, I was horrible in geography, really bad. Oh, in history too. But who taught me about history? Deceased people. Yeah, like when I went to Gettysburg, I learned a lot. I didn't even know where Gettysburg was. Oh, there we go. Hello, ladies. Hello. Yeah, I didn't even know where. Yeah, I was terrible with geography and history, but deceased people have been my best teachers. Really, seriously. Oh, especially like, with the generals, like the military people of history. Oh, yeah, yeah. But anyway, deja vu. Deja vu, it's that, where you've been somewhere and you're like, you know what? I have been here. I know I've been here, but I don't know when. And I don't know why I would be here, but I've been here. Or just anything. Like if you taste something and it's like, and you've never had it before, but you're tasting it and you're like, oh my gosh. In my situation, I had started crying. But I mean, that's kind of different though. But you'll recognize, I mean, in my case, it wasn't a past like this, so I can't really say that. I can't say that. But it was when I was much younger and I'd gone out on a date as an adult and I had this pumpkin pie and I started crying. And I didn't know why at first. And then it dawned on me, oh my gosh, this is what my mom used to make and this is how she made it. But the body is connected to the sixth sense, the brain, it's all connected. It is all connected. That's why you have to take care of it. And don't poo-poo it away. I mean, that's like, having perfectly good eyesight and going, oh, well, no, I don't know. I don't want to see bad things, so I'm just going to walk around with my eyes taped shut. That's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. And this one, people that you meet and you immediately dislike them, but you don't know why. Or people you meet and you really like them, in some cases, maybe even possibly love them, but you don't know why. And you're like, I'm sure I've met this person. I know I've met this person, but you don't know why. Old movies. I remember like there was an old movie on, and I'm not an old movie person, but I don't know, I was cleaning and the TV was on and this movie was on and I'm just like cleaning around the TV, like working my way to, I was just going to go turn it off. But I was mesmerized. I stopped cleaning and I sat down and I watched this movie from then until the very end. And it was like a movie I knew, but I didn't know it because I didn't watch it. And music's another thing. You may not be familiar with a certain kind of music. What about the kid apparently who came out saying he was John Lennon? Like he knew things about John Lennon. He knew about a song. He knew about like everything. It was crazy, but he knew the lyrics to songs and he was 4, which is amazing. Death dates. I'll get into that. A little bit more at the end because that's amazing. And do I have something to share with you with turtlenecks? Some of us could not wear a turtleneck shirt. Could not do it. You couldn't breathe. But then, for me, it was after the age of maybe 42, maybe 44, that I could start wearing a turtleneck again. And fears, unfounded fears, like going over a bridge. Why is it you don't want to drive over a bridge? Why? In this lifetime, was there an accident? Was there a bad event that happened? Why? If it's nothing in this life, it's something in your past life. So that's like with heights. Are you afraid of heights? And a lot of people are. But fears, unreasonable fears. Again, also of claustrophobia. That's like, why? So going back then to the death dates. All right. With the death dates, sometimes you will remember it. Your soul remembers it. And the soul, the brain work together. They do. They work together. Because I can tell you, I can tell you that when someone passes, they still are thinking. And they're thinking, oh, what happened? Oh my gosh, what's going on? They're still thinking. The soul is connected to the brain. Okay, but with the death, sometimes you can, like with the turtlenecks, okay, upon doing my examination of myself for past lives, and that's why I actually became a hypnotherapist. I became a hypnotherapist so that I could get people to relax and start to recall past lives. Because you will be given dreams of past, especially those dreams where you keep going back and seeing like the same people, but you don't know who they are. Could be a past life. Very, very easily. Because some of us have had many, many past lives. And I'd like to say it's because we enjoy the experience, or we like to have the knowledge and be like old sages. Or maybe some of us just play too much and don't accomplish everything we set out to accomplish. So we have to like come back and do it kind of again. I say that with love. You always learn. You're always on your right path. But with the death dates, all of a sudden you may have, okay, I had a client, okay? She's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like terrified to go out. So, I started asking her, like, when do you see it? Because we discuss past lives. And if that's all you want to discuss in your session, that's all we will discuss. And I guarantee you'll get more than one past life. A lot of stuff comes out in our sessions. Also, healing happens too in those sessions. So a lot of stuff from past lives that are stuck onto you, we get them off. But also, those things that are stuck to you will come off when you reach the date here in this lifetime of the date that you passed in a past life. Because so this girl was terrified. And then she says to me, and we're doing a phone session, she's like, oh my gosh, my maintenance man. She's like, I am terrified of him. But he's a nice person. I've met his wife, I met his child, but I don't trust him. I don't like him. I don't trust him. And, and she said, there's no reason for that. He's never been anything but appropriate and also kind. So it was that. And then she started to get to the point she wasn't going out. Oh, and then she said to me too, when she did come out, like she coming home, she's like looking all around, everywhere, like every up, down, around, under steps and this and that. And then she comes in to her apartment. She makes sure she hurries up. She closes the door. She locks it. But then she starts looking around her apartment to see if anyone's in there. And her family started to get worried because they're like, you're getting these unreasonable fears. We need to get you to counseling like ASAP. And like at one point, her mom's like, maybe you should go and stay in the hospital for a little bit so you can see what's going on. Because I'm going to say 2 days before the date of the finale, I'm going to say, she was a wreck. She was crying and shaking, and she didn't know why. She just knew. She said that I felt like I was going to die. I felt like somebody was just going to kill me. So you guys, when things are said like that out of fear, pay attention to that. If things are said in a joking manner, pay attention to that too. And that's why keeping a journal is so important, because you can figure it out. You can ask the other side too. They will give you they'll tell you. But sometimes it's how they tell you. It might not be straight out. Sometimes you have to go along the paths. It's like playing Clue in a sense. But anyway, so that's when the mom is like, you might need to go to the hospital. She's like, no, I'm not leaving my apartment. So come to find out, those 2 days, and then she was fine. absolutely fine. So I said to her, let me explain to you what happened. In a past life, I said to her, you should have like a mark on your neck over by your collarbone. And I was like, it's more than likely it's going to be on your right side. And she's like, oh my gosh, I do have a mark there. She goes, I have a birthmark. I said to her, that's from a knife. And you know, I don't know if you have one on your left side by your artery, but you probably do, but I don't think you do. I think it's the right one is the one that you can see. And she said, that's very true. But she said, every so often, my left side gets really sore, and I don't know why. Well, she, in a past life, was murdered. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that on YouTube. Sorry. What are they call it unalived? That doesn't even make any sense. But anyway, by her maintenance guy. The maintenance guy who had an obsession with her, and she was a female in the past life. Because, you know, in past lives, you're different genders, different races, different cultures, the whole bit. But in this case, she was a female. And she apparently was in an era where it was unusual for a woman to not be married and to want to have a life. But apparently she was, and she, like, very active. And the maintenance guy apparently was just, he had asked her out, but she said no. So he was very angry about that. He was spying on her. And then when this situation happened, when it took place, he had let himself into her apartment. And so when she came home, you know, she locks everything up. She's all happy though, because, you know, good things were happening in her life. And then when she turned around, you know, to come in, he jumped out and there was an attack. It was an SA attack. And then she went to heaven, let's say, since I can't say the words. Yeah. And it happened on the day, like right when she was like really bad, and the family's like, you need to go to the hospital. I mean, there's something wrong with you. You're like really, you've lost it. And no, but she was so intuitive. You guys, that's why I say honor that intuition. Look into it. You know, you take care of all your other senses. Take care of your sixth sense. There's so much that you can learn about yourself, about your spirituality, and about, like, you know, history. It's really interesting. So, I mean, you know, I know a life of mine that, I mean, I can actually go and find out information thanks to Google. You know, it's really amazing. But anyway, so yeah, come to find out, on that day, that's when it all came to a head. But apparently on that day around, she slept. But the next day, she was like, I got up, I was fine. And then she was like, I was kind of embarrassed for how I was acting. And I couldn't tell anybody why I was acting that way. So of course, they're checking her hormones. And they're just saying, well, you know, because you're alone and women really shouldn't be alone and blah, 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 blah. But no, you know, she was recognizing, or no, that was in the past life where she was being told, like, being a woman, you know. But yeah, the parents were saying for this lifetime, I'm getting them mixed up. Yeah, for this time though, they were just worried because she was overworking. That's what it was. She was overworking and she was not really dating. And they just felt like she was getting too much withdrawn in her own little world. And she was just, what it was is intuitively, she was feeling it. She was remembering what happened in her life. And it was many, many years ago. Many, many years ago. I'm going to venture to say that this probably happened in the 40s. Yeah. So again, it's past life. And everybody has one. Again, your soul comes back. Your role is assigned, and the role with the role, it's the gender, your family, and you guys have all together. It's really cool. It's really awesome. And that's the way that makes me like I'm very happy to be alive. Obviously, I'm very happy, and I love life. I do, and I love everybody. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all to transition. Because there's nothing to be afraid of. Well, I mean, I always try to be kind. But anyway, so you guys, to schedule your reading with me, if you want to find out more about yourself, more about your past lives, because all of that is together. You never go. Every life, it's related. It is linked somehow. It's not like so completely different. That's how we sometimes have knowledge of how to do things and how to understand things that are foreign to us. And it's because that's not our first go. This isn't our first go round. So to schedule your reading with me, okay, you can send me an email to janiedaly@gmail.com, or you can send, for those of you that have my cell phone, I would put it out, but I mean, if you ask me for it, I'll give it to you, obviously. Or you can Facebook Messenger. But also the thing that helps you to know who you are, and I think it's great for the kids, it's great for your mates, it's great for potential mates, is the life path charts. It's astrology, numerology, personology, psychology. It's all combined. But it helps you to see who you are. Like if you're somebody who doesn't really like the limelight, and if that's part of your number, then you don't punish yourself. And this way you can you help yourself along. Like I always use the 2s as the best examples. And like I should even probably use the 5s. I'm a 5. For 5s, ADD, ADHD. But our senses are like on fire. Like definitely. Because the 6th sense for everybody works off of the 5 senses and vice versa. But for the 5 person, our senses, all 6 senses are strong. Even with, like our eyesight can be like not as good, but the 6th sense will actually, and your 3rd eye will actually give you very good vision. Yeah. But anyway, so, and with the 5 person too, we are prone to insomnia. Prone to insomnia. And then also very hyper aware. We do see things. We do see things. We'll have a lot of psychic events. So you can have people telling you that, oh, that's not good. Oh, that's really not good. You're not supposed to be seeing things. You're not supposed to be seeing deceased people or able to talk to animals. Because if you do talk to animals, you're nuts. And it's not just a 5 that can talk to animals. A lot of people can. But, and the thing of it is, you guys, don't be embarrassed. Be yourselves. If you're kind to everybody and yourself, don't forget, be kind to yourself too. Then there's nothing wrong. Ask, believe, and receive. That works in every area of life. Be kind also. It doesn't hurt to be kind. And negativity always tries to win. But negativity, no. Positivity is wonderful and can break negativity. Join me again Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. And we're going to be speaking about how your deceased loved ones come through for you and what you can do to understand that. But I got to tell you, the biggest thing is believing. Okay? If you believe, I should say, this way, when you believe and you ask, you will receive. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It has been my pleasure, and I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Hello, Miss Kim. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. And if you could please subscribe, pass my channel around. Let's get this thing growing because I really want to be able to, I want to open an office and I want to be able to travel around. But I definitely want to do an office again, because I really want to do the healing, because I do healing. I definitely do healing, and my healing, it works. I guess I can explain that in another time, like how I think I did on one of my shows. I think I showed like when it first became obvious to me. But we all have gifts. Schedule your reading and I will point your gifts out to you. And remember too, I'm really good with romance. Oh, I am. I can let you know when that mate's coming. All right, you guys. Sending you all many, many angel blessings. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And hopefully I'll see you Saturday at 10:30.